Cooking with Kathy.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome back. It is Ash Wednesday today, the beginning of Lent, and for a lot of us that means no meat on Fridays and no meat today. So looking for some new recipes for Lent, I've got one for you. I think a lot of people are nervous about doing seafood at home, and to be honest with you, years ago I only did seafood out at the restaurants. And that's because the seafood years ago at the grocery stores wasn't that great. Well, let me tell you, we've come a really long way. The seafood department at Festival is absolutely fantastic. Fresh seafood all the time, wonderful frozen seafood. So don't be afraid of doing it at home. Try it. Sometimes that Friday night fish fry, which I do happen to love, can be a really long wait, especially during Lent. So you know what? Why not do some seafood at home this Lenten season? It can be fresh, wonderful, and light. And I'm doing a baked Greek haddock recipe, which anyone can do. Cod and haddock are really great. As far as if you're just starting to get into cooking seafood, you just can't go wrong with them. They're not fishy, even my kids love them. And I've started out with a couple tablespoons of olive oil and a quarter of a cup of finely diced onion, and I'm just sauteing this. And this is a real quick fix. I'm going to add 1 to 2 cloves. This happened to be a giant clove of garlic in here. This is a Greek baked haddock, so it's got some Greek flavors, but very light and wonderful. So in goes our fresh garlic with the onions. Now I've got 1 can of diced tomatoes with the juice, a little bit, just a splash of dry white wine, Pinot Grigio or a Chardonnay. Doesn't have to be a real expensive bottle. I like to use these little bottles when it comes to cooking because you can just screw the cap on, put it in the fridge, and use it for your recipe next time. A little bit of oregano, dried or fresh. Oregano is very strong though, so a little dab will do you. Now I've got some capers. These are optional. If you don't have them, you don't have to run by a jar. This is still going to have lots of great flavor. You'll find those near the pickles, but they just add kind of a nice lemon pickly flavor. And then I've got some Greek chopped olives, but any kind of olives will work, or you could just leave the olives out. You know, some people don't do olives, and this recipe is going to work just fine without them. And a little bit of salt and pepper. So at home, you're just going to let that cook just for a minute or two, just until the juices kind of reduce down a little bit. And then I went to Festival and picked up a couple of nice haddock fillets, or this would also work with cod. And I've got them in a casserole dish that we've sprayed with cooking spray. And I've got my oven preheated to about 375 degrees. Now you're going to take this tomato mixture and pour it over the fish. This is going to do 2 to 4 fillets. And this is a very quick bake. Basically in the oven just until that fish turns white and flaky, and don't overcook your fish. I think a lot of us are, that's when it tends to get dried out, although this wonderful tomato sauce is going to keep it nice and moist. And so about 20 to 30 minutes is what we're looking for. Come back with me. Kitchen smells amazing, by the way. No butter in that recipe, as you notice, so nice and light. And here you have it. Now, I like to serve this, keeping it nice and light, with a rice pilaf. Get some of that fish there and some of the great sauce, and maybe some asparagus or a salad, some broccoli, something like that. A little bit of a garnish of some parsley, and I always like to serve a little bit of lemon with fish, so maybe a slice or 2 of lemon. And by the way, you know me, I'm always cooking. Make sure and watch Living with Amy today. Got some more great recipes for Lent. We're doing fruits and veggies, so we're going to do lots of stuff with veggies. I'm making portobello mushroom burgers. We're also doing some great light desserts, poached pears, all sorts of great ideas for Lent. And on the weekend, I'm cooking too, cooking up with Storm. I've got a real budget-friendly recipe that I think your family will love. I'm making Swiss steak in the slow cooker using top round steak. So make sure and watch Good Day Wisconsin on Sunday.